And while shifting focus to India, anti-terror operations continue for a third consecutive day in Jammu and Kashmir's Kishtwar. The encounter started between terrorists and security forces in Dul area of Kishtwar district in Jammu and Kashmir on Sunday. According to officials, 2 of the 3 terrorists are holed up at the operation site. Security forces also blasted one of the natural caves in the area in which they believe that terrorists could be hiding. Indian forces are engaged in 2 major anti-terror operations in Jammu and Kashmir, the 3rd day of the encounter in Kishtwar and the 12th day-long operation Akal in Kulgam, where 2 soldiers were killed. In action, the Kulgam operation has become one of the longest anti-terror operations in the Kashmir Valley ever. The gun battle titled Operation Akal is being carried out by Indian Army, including para commandos and RR, Jammu and Kashmir Police and CRPF forces. They are now using high-tech surveillance equipment, including drones and thermal imaging devices, along with elite para special forces brought in to carry the operation in Jammu and Kashmir. Another day in Gaza and another series of gruesome tales of Palestinians yielding to death from extreme hunger emerges. But there's almost always more than what meets the eye, with aid trucks trickling in Gaza, doubling as cash machines, offering benefits not to the hungry and hapless, but to the forces that power the fighting and keep wars alive, ones that are not fought only with weapons. As per a report by the Wall Street Journal, aid trucks meant for distributing food, water, fuel, medicines and other supplies for those in the conflict zone are increasingly acting as cash centers for warlords, militias and authoritarian regimes, instead of those needy and starving. These trucks are feeding war machines, namely armed forces, elite officials and other actors who keep the war machinery well-oiled. For students and youngsters in Gaza, their dreams and ambitions are marred by the daily hunt for food amid constant struggle for survival every single day in Gaza.
The voice of youth is not heard in Gaza. We have been saying this for a long time, that we want to live, we want to get educated, we want to travel. Now we are saying that we want to eat. Before the war, we had really high ambitions. It was so high to the extent that we were thinking that we want to travel, benefit our society. We were thinking of making things. Now all our thinking has gone downhill.
The World Health Organization urged for more aid to be brought in Gaza before Israel could seize control of the entire territory.
We want to make sure that hospitals are at least a little stocked up. We currently cannot do that, and we also want to rebuild our own reserves. We currently are not able to do that in a proper way.
Getting aid into Gaza is rather monumental task in itself. Procuring it even more so, with chaos setting in and ordinary Palestinians scrambling before aid sites, walking kilometers just to secure a single 1 bag of wheat. As per Gaza health authorities, hundreds of people have died and hundreds more have been wounded since the new food distribution program run by Israel-backed foundation known as the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation began nearly 2 months ago. And the demand almost outstrips supply, with the World Food Programme saying that 62,000 metric tons are required to enter Gaza every single month just to cover basic humanitarian food assistance needs. If distribution wasn't less horrific, the crippling problem of aid diversion has made matters far more complex, throwing a wrench into humanitarian operations. Imagine the very same aid meant to bring relief and respite to those in need is now being taxed and weaponized and used to pit one against the other, misplacing beneficiaries and adversaries. The question is, who takes accountability for it? The donors or the world leaders? What if I told you a piece of rock from Mars is creating havoc on Earth? Needless to say, it is no ordinary rock for reasons more than one. For starters, weighing 54 pounds, this Martian meteorite has been sold for $5.3 million at a New York auction just last month, setting a fresh record as the most expensive meteorite ever auctioned. And now, Niger is probing this lavish sale of this giant red rock. But what is so special about it after all? Well, known as NWA 16788, the specimen is the largest known piece of mass on Earth, roughly 70% larger than any other Martian meteorite discovered to date. Not just that, this captured the attention of thousands of visitors and sparked a 15-minute bidding war between online and phone bidders in what can be called a near historic bidding. But why is Niger concerned? Well, this fragment was first discovered in a remote region of Niger in 2023, which brought renewed focus on the act of meteorite hunting itself. And Niger alleges this falls under the ambit of illicit trafficking, suggesting that the rock has been stolen from Niger. And many believe that the rock should go back to where it was earlier retrieved from. However, this is not the first time such an incident has been reported. In fact, meteorite hunting as an activity is growing in arid Sahara countries like Niger, which are now turning into prime spots for discovering these extraterrestrial material, given their favorable climatic conditions that aid in preservation of these rare rocks, many of whom are used for scientific studies or just objects. But the immediate question is, will Niger get some kind of credit and compensation for the rock sold at Sotheby's for millions, as many believe it rightfully should?